Hey guys, my name is Ethan, this is Carberra. Welcome to the series where I teach you how to build a Discord pop-up for your server. Today, we're going to talk about setting activities and presences. So if I go into Discord real quick, we're going to be doing what S4 does here and saying watching whatever, and we're going to be setting up the API like this. We're actually going to mimic this particular message. In the last series we did a cycling message. In this series I'm not going to bother doing that. I'm just going to do watching, then the prefix, then help, then the number of servers, the number of users. We're not going to have the version number. Because from what I've had in the support channels, that is by far and away the most common use for presences with members in the server. So we're just going to be doing that. So I've already taken a liberty of creating our new metacog, which we're going to need. We're going to need this for this video and the video after, so it is worth creating this. And we're going to do some imports. So we're going to from async, not async, what am I doing? From AP scheduler dot triggers dot cron import cron trigger, like that. So this allows us to schedule some bot updates. We're also going to set a private variable, quote unquote, for self.message, and this is where you would put your default message. So for now I'm going to put playing with the, actually we'll just put the full thing. So plus help, and then we're going to have a pipe because I'm lazy, can't be asked to grab the bullet from the character map. And we're going to have watching bang, we're going to have users, that's actually going to be a 1,000 separated thing in servers. So we're going to have guilds like that. So as you can see, the formatting here is roughly the same. Well, this is the other way around, but it's the same sort of thing. So we have the help, so we have the help invocation message here, and we have watching whatever in whatever. We're also going to, I'm actually going to do self.bot. Actually, let's put them bot.scheduler.add job, self.set, which we're going to create, and we're going to do cron trigger, and we're going to update this every minute. Second equals 0, so on the 0th second of every minute, our activity will update and, more importantly, refresh to include the correct numbers. Because if I go back to Discord, of course, S4, if S4 joins another server, obviously we want this to update to 25, so that will happen. You can, in theory, just get it to update on guild joins, but then if you're having users, that will update incorrectly. And if you want a cycle-based activity system, then you need to update it as well. So it's better just have the update. I'm pretty sure I have done this in the setup in the past. I don't believe it actually matters. We will test this to see if it works. You can put it in the setup if you want, but realistically speaking, this actually doesn't matter at all where you put that. So I'm just putting it there to show you that you can put it there. So we actually need our set. So async the set, and then self, and then, oh, no, actually good pass. So activities work by using an activity and activity type object. So remember when I said we were doing imports at the start? Well, I didn't actually import the actual essential stuff. So we need to go to the top and from Discord import activity and activity type, and self.bot.change presence. I'll explain what I'm doing, but it's easier to explain what I'm doing when it's actually here. Name equals that, and type equals that. So essentially what so this self.bot.change presence is what we actually use to change the presence of the bot, and we pass in activity type, and I just remembered we actually need to do activity equals activity, and then this activity takes a name and a type, and this type, as you could probably guess, is of type activity type, and the name is just a normal string. So we do actually need to change this message up somewhat, but first I want to actually show you how I want to do this. So we're also going to have a command to change activities on the fly, and the easiest way of allowing this to happen is to have like a little inferencer thing. So we could have like watching 18 members, for example. So if you pass this string in or set this as the message, the watching will be automatically kind of interpreted as you want the watching type, and then 18 members would be set as the activity name. So it prevents us from having to like manually set the activity all the time, and it allows us to have a command to do that. So the self.message, we actually need to change this to watching help. And then we can just get rid of the watching there, and that'll be better. So if we now do so type, whoops, name, we're doing the underscores because type is a built-in, no, we just do it with underscores. Self.message, whatever self.message is at the time, dot split, and when we create the command to update the message, we'll actually be changing self.message. We'll actually be updating that. I guess this will be a good opportunity to show you properties. I don't know if I've done properties yet in the series, but it'll be a good opportunity to show you how those work and how you can use them. So actually, with that in mind, we can get rid of this, and we can come back to that later. I will explain why I've gotten rid of the underscore in a bit. For now, we can do split the space, max split equals 1, so we only split the first thing. Then we have name of name, and then type. We can actually probably just have this on one line in all fairness. Type equals get attra activity type, and then type. So this will get whichever activity type. So say you pass in watching as your first thing, it will get activity type watching and assign that to that. However, you do probably want to assign a default if you type in something wrong. So I'm going to set activity type to playing because it's kind of the quote-unquote default one. You can, if you would prefer watching to be here or listening to be here, then go for that. Have activity type to playing as our default. Just in case when you do the command you pass in something wrong. And another note I want to do, because we are now going to do the command will not save our new activity in persistent storage. You have to save it every time. If you want to do persistent storage, you can store it in a database, but I'll leave that for you to do. So we're going to have a command called SetUpTivity. Actually, you know, before we do any of that, we should probably check to make sure it works. So when we in our launcher, we actually probably want to update the BART object to set the presence when it launches. So on ready, where is on ready? Where is on ready? It's at the bottom. It is at the bottom. So we can do self.bot. Oh no, we can do self.getCog presence. Is it presence? No, it's meta. And meta equals self.present, and then await meta dot set. So this will set our activity to the default thing, which is watching help users in whatever. This in theory should now set our activity. It doesn't. Meta has no attribute message. Oh yeah, because we didn't set that up. Whoops, that is entirely my bad. So I'm actually going to do with properties now. The properties are in Python. If you're used to other programming languages, properties are the getters of Python. If you don't know what a getter is, then I guess I'll try my best to explain. So we can have a property .message. So we can now reference this property using self.message. If you do self.message, it will call this function. You do not need to. It's not a function call. It is this. It is a variable. We are setting a property or an attribute. Then we can set this to message. So basically what we're doing is we are, what the hell, my watch has just gone mad. Okay, so what we're doing here is we are just simply saying that message equals self._message. It's just allowing us to get that. Why is there a tab over there? We can also do message.setter. So this is our setter function, so we're now setting the message. This variable name does need to be the same. otherwise it won't work. So that takes self and value, and we're just going to pass that for now. So this happens if we do self.message equals. So this function, so this method is called, and whatever we pass in here, so let's say 15 for example, value would then be equal to this. So in this case we'd be invoking this method, and value would equal 15. Okay. And then we can do self.message equals value, and that will set the message. We could also then call, we can't call that because it's a wait. That's extremely annoying. Alright, so we can't actually call self straight away. I was going to do it, so we called, so we did an await self.set, and it just set the thing straight away. We're not going to be able to do that, so we actually have literally no need for private variables and stuff. That's how properties work. It just happens. In this case, we don't need it, but that is how properties work. And then that should work now. Yeah. Sorry for that little tangent. It's probably good to get out there anyway. If you do want to do multiple, I'm not sure what instance it could possibly have. I suppose it works. As you can see, we have our, actually I can think of a use for properties. We can bring them back. So as you can see, we have our activity set, but it's not correct. So we use what? What is all this? Well, we're going to fix that. So we're actually going to bring our properties back, because I didn't talk about them all for nothing. So what we could do is a message.setter would be the same. You could potentially do like some setters are generally used for validation. So you could say if value, or if not, oh I guess value.split. So we can actually make sure that it's the same. So value.split max split 1 equals 1, and then, well, actually we don't need a max split really. Is not in playing, watching, listening to, or streaming, then we can raise value error, and then we can call like invalid, I don't know, activity type or something like that. You could probably come up with a slightly better error message, and then if that's fine, then we can then set the message. So this is just a little bit of validation. We could also do, we can actually have the format in the getter. So we can do self.message.format, and then we can actually have users equals self.bot.users, would be len self.bot.users, and guilds equals len self.bot.guilds. So this is a perhaps slightly overcomplicated version of it, but this should now work. So if we load this, our activity is set. Help 219 users in one server. So this includes bot users. You can of course change that to not include bot users. Yeah, we're now going to do our command to actually set our activity on the fly, which is why we wanted this variable, because we wanted this variable to stay, otherwise our scheduler would just overwrite the set every time if we had it hard coded. So we're going to go in here, and we're going to do command name equals set activity. We're not going to have an alias because why not? Or because screw it, I guess. Set activity message self, and then ctx, and then our whole message. So we can just have run a message, I don't know, or text. We'll call it text. Why not? Then that text should be a string, and it's required. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do self.message equals text, and then we're going to do an await self.set. So we're now setting our message, so we'll come into this setter, it will check to see automatically if our type is valid. So with listening to, it does have to have a hyphen in it, because of the way it splits it on the other side. So keep that in mind. You can set playing, watching, listening to, or streaming. You can also just have these users and guilds. You can add more to this, but you can generally just pass in these what am I sure, is it message format, or the curly braces with all the formatting, so the 1000 separate format and everything, and it will work. But yeah, this just does all our validation for us. I'm actually just gonna run that and show that it does work. So as you can see, we are watching 219 users on one server. However, I've decided, you know, that I actually want the server to be first. So we're gonna have help, and I also want it to be a slash, because why not? And I just want to show how many servers are in. So we can do guilds, that, and then that do. Fingers crossed. Something went wrong. We leveled up though, so that's good. Invalid activity type. Oh, have I messed that up? Oh, I didn't pass an activity type in, so it actually worked. And of course, the problem with this is that we're raising an error, so we probably actually don't want to do that. We probably, in this particular case, we perhaps want to do... Actually, we can't ctx.send. Well, I don't know. You can move this validation to here. We're just going to leave it as is. Because, screw it, I can't be asked to change it now. I didn't do all that explanation on properties for nothing, okay? We could do... I decided we also want playing. No, we want. I want listening to, actually. I want listening to. I feel as though it's better. So we have our activity set. We don't have any UX to say it's done, but we have changed it here. It has defaulted it to playing, which is interesting. Perhaps listening to just doesn't work as expected. That's probably the problem. Would it be listening? I guess it'd be listening actually, not. Hang on, let me try that. It might be listening, not listening to what we want. Okay, apparently it just breaks. Oh yeah, because it's invalid. Listening. It might just be listening. We will see. I actually have no idea. I've never used listening stats before. Okay, it's just listening. So you just pass in listening here, and we now have listening to +1 help servers. +1 help servers plus help 1 servers. And then you can do set activity playing with the API, and it would just set that to playing with the API. And then of course next time the bot boots up, so if we just kill the bot and then boot it back up again, we will get our default activity back. Watching, yeah, plus help. So again, if you want to do persistent storage, then you can add that. I've shown that enough times in this series for you to know how to work databases and that. But yeah, with that brings us to the end of the video. If you'd like to say below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down below as well, or you can join the Discord server using the link in the description. If you really like the video, consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell so you don't miss out on future uploads. And if you really like the video, then consider supporting me on Patreon. Of course, you don't have to, but it'd be a really cool thing of you to do. With that in mind, I'd like to thank my super patrons, Adam Dreyer, Not Adam Dreyer, Jackster, and Shashank for being so awesome. And I will see you next time, where we kind of start to finish the series off, or at least the main part of the series. So we're going to be doing bot stats, and we're going to be shutting the bot down. So we're going to be doing quality of life commands and stuff next time. So I'll see you for that.